Well, good evening, and welcome, and thank you so much for joining me this Saturday evening. What can I say? Another Saturday evening on Cornerflex, and discussion going to be living with the purpose. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. Those on TikTok, those on Facebook, those on YouTube, welcome. And it's going to be a very packed night tonight. It's going to be a packed night tonight because in the roundup of the different guests, let me just turn this music down. In the roundup of the different guests tonight, there will be, what should I say, Mr. Patrick Morrison, and Patrick Morrison is from the CEO and founder of Broker House. A man who understands the value of building generational wealth and empowering families through smart estate planning. And the thing about it, we'll be diving into financial education bit, and of course the whole thing about the legacy of Marcus Garvey. One of the things I was saying is that the legacy of Marcus Garvey should be one that we live through at the same time, and so that is going to be up to 11 p.m. And then from 11 p.m. I'm going to switch over to Jacqueline Bryan. She's the president of the Jamaica Social Workers, and also with Deana-Kay Thomas, Living with a Purpose. Continue that conversation. Deana-Kay Thomas, she's the author of the book called Behind the Perfect Picture. And together we'll explore what it truly means to live with purpose, to serve, uplift, and inspire others while walking in the divine calling. As Marcus Garvey reminded us, a people without knowledge of their past history, again, and culture is like a tree without roots. Tonight, we're here to remind you that living with purpose is how we grow those roots in faith, in service, and in legacy. And therefore, it's all a part of the process. And that is something which I look forward to. And one of the things on Monday night, which I said I'm going to be doing also, is having some conversation with my good friend Junior as two fathers. We're going to be talking about as fathers, because I saw something which happened in Catford over the past couple of days in Lewisham here, whereby there have been two fatality over one night, apparently. Speaking to the police yesterday, and apparently one fatality in the morning and then another one after. It could be a reprisal or whatever like that. And then at the same time, there was another accident, accident whereby another fatal, 3 in one go. It's like the spirit of death. So anyhow, just wanted to flag that up as well. So just be mindful and be careful out there. And there have been some good fires going through South London. Very strange and very interesting, I must say. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring in, we had some little technical issues earlier. I'm going to bring in my good friend, Mr. Patrick Morrison of Broker House. And thank you for those joining. And we're going to see if all goes well with the microphone check and everything like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to start the show now. Moment of testing.
Hello.
Mike. I hear you live and direct. It would work eventually. It will work itself out, Patrick,
Yeah.
As well. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me on. Apologies to the people that have logged in expecting us to see at 10 o'clock on the dot, but had some technical issues. This is a platform I'm not used to. I'm Silver. I'm used to Zoom and Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, but tell us at the same time, what's your platform, Patrick Morrison?
Okay, so
the real platform.
Patrick Morrison Broker House is a business that I run and started many years ago in the estate planning industry, where I am providing a service to the people in our community, educating them and fulfilling their needs with regards to wills, trusts, lasting power of attorney, inheritance tax, probate, and document storage. So it's about educating and supplying a service and going over and beyond what maybe some people will do in helping people that look like me and us and sound like me and us.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And at this time, because as it is Black History Month in the UK, this particular theme about the living the legacy of Marcus Garvey or so. Would you say that what would you say have been any sort of influence to Marcus Garvey with what you're doing as well?
Oh, the influence of Marcus Garvey is tremendous. It's not just because it's something I integrate within my business and my thought process, but it's something that I live and breathe every day. That I wake up and I sleep. My identity and how I am as a person and being there for people like us is imperative. We have not been a people that have been tremendously supported in so many different areas. And I find that the lack of knowledge in so many different areas is paramount to our lack of progression. So because I specialize in one industry, in providing a service, it is about in education and empowerment and making people aware of the choices that's available to them, and then to make those choices in relation to their circumstances. And it's my job to highlight it. It's my job to point it out and then to guide them in the right direction and support them in that direction.
And when we talk about build generational wealth,
Yeah.
what does that phrase really mean? And why is it so important today? Today, especially within the Black community as well. Yeah.
Building generational wealth, it seems to be no disrespect to anybody or anything. It seems to be a pop word at the moment.
Yes.
Everyone's talking about generational wealth, but what does it really mean? What it really means is that the knowledge, the assets, what you have, your experience in life, your community cultural identity is passed on from one generation to the next. So it's not limited to an industry that I practice in, even though it's paramount, because it seems to be a popular phrase at the moment. But we need to go a step further and beyond. We need to not just look at generational wealth, but we need to look at community wealth. What does community wealth mean and what does it look like? Let's look at the word community. What it actually means is a group of people in a common place with a common purpose and principles and identities that they share, so they can make a social environment. Now, our identity and our communities have been broken down through many different ways, and the lack of economic and political, educational, health, food, transportation, it just goes on and on, that we do not have the power to empower ourselves and to lift ourselves up. So as much as I can educate families and individuals to look at how they can pass their inheritance down from one generation to the next, to be honest, Sylvan, that's not enough. It needs to be more. It needs to be wider. It needs to be a wealth, a community wealth that is practiced in our community.
And in the area of estate planning awareness,
yes,
many people, especially in the Black and Caribbean community, don't always prioritize estate planning. Some of the, what should I say, the biggest misconceptions you encounter about wills and trusts. And before you even answer that, I can say that a few years ago, a good amount of years now, when I saw this guy and he was doing wills, and he said, you can do your will, and I said, I don't have my will yet. And then I invited him and spoke to him and to come home to meet me and my wife and do the will. But for the week, Patrick, before the guy came up, I was driving so cautiously. Why am I thinking about wills? You know what I mean? And I was just driving cautiously because I'm just like, this whole thing about will, you know? Yeah, what is this misconception at the same time?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, if we're breaking it down to a particular product, when we're talking about generational wealth, then wills is something that some people tend to shy away from. They tend to feel it's something that they need when they're old, or they tend to feel it's something when they need when actually on their deathbed, which in all honesty, that's when it's a bit too late. A will is just an expression of your wish, on what you want to happen when you're no longer here. The inevitable is going to get to all of us at some stage. How we manage that and how we manage that asset transfer is very important. So my job is to highlight someone's particular situation, break it down into a form of communication that they can understand, and then present it to them in a logical step-by-step process of what needs to happen. And they don't need to do everything in one go. So in the early days, I used to face a lot of obstacles or objections or fears that if they're creating a will, I'm wishing death on them. Now it's just something that I'll get round to it. And there's no particular fear around it. It's just one of the things they don't want to think about right now. It's not necessarily related to death or I'm wishing death on them. It's just a matter of getting around to do the right things at the right time.
Yeah. And the whole bit about what was for someone was never started, for argument's sake. And what would you say then is like the age that one should start to think about wills? Because we normally think about it like in our 50s, 60s or so like that. But what age should somebody start to really think, people who are listening, for argument's sake?
Anyone that's from the age of 18 can create. There's no anyone can take a will at the age of 18. The amount of 18-year-olds that take a will depends on the industry you're in. Footballers now and high performance sports people are taking wills a lot earlier than they used to because of some of the deaths that we've witnessed on the football pitch or accidents that happen in training grounds. Traditionally, people that start to reach 40 and above are looking at how to protect their estate and their assets from various taxes and loss of growth and how they wish to pass it on and who's going to look after the children if they're longer here, especially if their children are still young. So Marcus Garvey taught us that group economics, group cooperation, group faith, and African fundamentalism was really important in the way that we plan our lives going forward and how we do that. And that's what I try to incorporate in what Broker House does. So people do look far further and further abroad than where they actually are. So it's about relationships you have with your family and with your wider family and your community. How can you benefit some of the charities that are there doing good work for young and older people? What support can you give to a business owner that's starting their business? Certain tax relief for businesses by investing in a business. Is that the right solution for you? What risk is there involved in that? So there's so many different areas, Silver, that people can look at how they create generational wealth and how legacy planning can be incorporated.
And what would you say is a detriment or the real disadvantage of not doing wills? Or people, who benefits from that?
Well, I know you're leading with this. It's totally understandable. The government takes over. You are giving government control of what happens to what you have when you pass away. And some of those laws may not directly affect you, but subject to the complexity of your family dynamics and its breakdown, it could affect your estate drastically. More people are not living with one partner or married to one partner for their whole lives. They may have children from different relationships. They may have more than one property. They may more have property in a different country. They may inherit from a different country. So all of these things have factors into how estate or assets are transferred if you do not have a will and if the government takes control. And plus, they're going to charge you for it.
And in this particular era, do you see, let's say from COVID period, did you see a sort of a rise or increase in the level of business, but of course the level of interest in this?
There was a massive uptake in type of services when it comes to wills and lasting power of attorneys because people started to realize that they didn't have as much control as they thought they have. And also the fear of passing away without setting their affairs in order. But since COVID has alleviated a bit, and it's not so much in the public eye, and the death toll is not rising the way they were saying, then it has dropped off a bit because people are now taking their time in making those decisions and not feel like they've been rushed to do something.
So they're sort of dropping off, a sort of slack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that doesn't mean that I take my eye off the ball when I'm dealing with my customers and incorporating in how I talk to them fundamentals that I believe are important to us as a people. I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm not trying to preach to anybody. But in order to understand your clients, you have to understand their situation. So you absorb their life. You have empathy with what they're going through. And because we do come, or I do come from a Jamaican background, and I deal with people from the West Indies, there is an automatic line of communication, which is a lot easier for them to understand with me and them. And there's a bit more of a trust there after you have a bit of a rapport. And I understand their situation. I can identify with their situation. I then give off what I have. And giving off what I have doesn't just permeate them, it permeates their whole family. Because when I do, I'm going to see some of the older people in their family, sometimes their children are there checking me out on social media. They want to know, who's this person come to see my mum and dad? And sometimes they're involved in the initial meeting process. Once the children are comfortable, they leave me alone with mum and dad. Or sometimes mum and dad don't want them in the room. It's entirely up to them.
Yeah, we got to hear it. Jamaica, you just touched on Jamaica a while ago. When you talk about wills and trust and all those sort of things, and people within the diaspora, especially Windrush persons, people who are on their end days, and they're sitting with houses, big houses, property, they're paid off their mortgage. What do you say to persons like those? I mean, should they just, people that want to sell it off, or what do you say to persons? They want to go back to Jamaica, but at the same time they got this property. What do you say to people? How do you advise, persons like those?
That question goes so far and deep, Silburn, because people's circumstances are different. You know what it's like, and I know what it's like. Yeah, you may have property in Jamaica. That property may not be registered properly. It may have been handed down by somebody to somebody else, and someone else is living in the property, keeping that property for you while you are in England. But when that person, when grandma or granddad or someone died, that property was given to you to manage. Now in the UK, you have a HM Land Registry Service where every property is registered and every owner is registered. If it's not registered, it will soon be registered if you have to go through probate and they find out who identifies that property. In Jamaica, it's slightly different. Now, I don't understand the property distribution laws in Jamaica, but what I do know is that a lot of families own land in the West Indies, which is not officially registered. And in order to pass through the estate via the correct process, that property needs to be registered. So it's something that they need to deal with at some stage. Yeah.
Well, Eric Huey, this one of your clients, has said, I recommend Patrick Morrison to anyone who wants to make a will. Mr. Morrison has been involved in my family for a few years now. He did my mom's power of attorney and also her will.
Yeah.
So they, as a matter of fact, it leads me to a point which I wanted to say, because you talk about wills and you talk about trust. Trust is so crucial, isn't it? Your business, in a sense, has grown from word of mouth. That says a lot about trust and reputation, isn't it?
Oh, that's crucial, Silver. That's crucial. And that cannot be manufactured.
Yes.
That takes time. And your genuinity, how genuine you are, when you come across to people and understanding your information, your craft, and breaking it down in terms that people can digest, following up in the correct manner, and making sure you're providing a service over and above that you said what you're going to provide, and do it in a timely manner, do it in a professional manner. It's just crucial in how we communicate with our own people, how we value them, how we value what they have and what they're giving to us, and the service we give to them demonstrates that. So it's paramount. It's paramount in building trust. And like I said, that takes time.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those on TikTok and those on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, I'm with Mr. Patrick Morrison, a PLM consultant, trading as Broker House Limited, and talking about wills and trusts. And it's very important at this time, and we're just exploring this particular area. And I just want to say that there's a long-standing working and close relationship with preferred partners across a wide range of services. Other than the wills and the trusts, what other areas would you say is so crucial? And also, I want to say, when you come to people and talk to them about money and properties, do they look at you with, I wonder why I'm on now?
Not really, though, Silver. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
I don't get that kind of feedback or vibration from people.
yeah,
I tend to meet people at their points of need
yes.
when they need something. I'm grateful for my customer base for recommending me to their friends and family. That's just paramount for me. That's how I feel my business.
It comes a lot through recommendation then.
Without a doubt. Most of
Right.
my business is by word of mouth and by recommendation.
Right.
And I'm grateful to my customers that do that. And some people who are not even customers yet are recommending me to people. You know, they've had no experience of me apart from they've heard from me speak at an event or presented, or someone else has told them about me, and they feel, this is someone that could potentially help me. I know of someone that can do this. So when it comes to other services that people may need, I will only speak about the areas that I'm qualified to speak in.
Yes.
If they need investment advice, I put them in contact with the right financial advisor for investment. If they need mortgage advice, I put them in contact with the right person that specializes in all types of different mortgages. But I work with a team of people that specialize in specific areas, and depending on the person's estate, depends on the action that needs to be taken to protect that estate, and they make the best choice for themselves.
I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, I put contact Patrick Morrison's details there. Sorry, Patrick, I should have asked you. Your mobile is okay there, yeah?
That's fine. Yeah, it's a business number.
Yeah, the inquiries there and the website is there. And as I know Patrick for years as well, we've been to different places as well.
Yes.
Persons, if you're watching and you're listening and you want Patrick to come and talk to your church and talk to your organization, that is what it is about, because you go into these places with a heart, Patrick, to really help persons there. And then therefore, that's how one generate partnership, isn't it?
Yes. Relationship is key in anything that we do. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
To develop a relationship, you've got to be relative to people. They've got to identify with you. You have to identify with them. You have to have empathy regarding their situation, their journey in life to where they are at this point.
Yeah.
And you have to take time and put a solution together that reflects that journey in their life, because the end or the latter life journey is just as important for them. And you've got to treat them with respect and dignity, no matter what stage of life they're in, or where they are at the current stage in life.
I must say, when we talk about estate planning and all these sort of things, and they say it sounds intimidating, it is also an intimidating thing when it is not their area of specialty.
It is.
How do you make these complex financial tools easy to understand and accessible to everyday people?
Oh, Silver, to me, it's quite simple. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody else, but for me, it's quite simple. I just treat people as people. Yeah? I look at them and I just break things down in simple, well, I say simple English, and I just give different scenarios of explaining that situation. You have to understand that we are now coming into the area of estate planning and taxation, which didn't affect us in the past.
Yeah,
we never really acquired wealth like that. But a lot of us have bought houses, and we've sat on those houses, and those houses have grown in value. And we've also acquired savings, and we may have inherited some money as well, not all, but some. So all of a sudden now, we are now having conversations that we would not have maybe 20, 30 years ago. Certain things are affecting us, which wouldn't affect us 20, 30 years ago. And what's affecting us now is also going to affect the next generation and how they manage that. A lot of people have started to invest in property and acquired a nice property portfolio. There's changes in tax laws and positioning. That's going to cause people some problems and how they manage that tax situation. And there are advisors out there and specialists out there that can advise them how to do that, as well as how to distribute their estate when that time comes. So certain other solutions and products come into play at that stage.
I'm not being facetious, but I'm going to get a bit political to a certain extent. With the opposition leader alluding that I'm going to be vote me in and we'll take off the stamp duty. What would you say about, okay, say for instance that happens and stamp duty is off, and persons come to you and say, hey Michael, hey Patrick, what's going down now? How can we acquire some other things with what we have there? What would you say? Or what are the implications of stamp duty?
I've been there for many years, and it's the barriers exit to it and the effects of it has changed over the years. Right? Yes. So that's nothing new. Okay. They've tried to make stamp duty a little bit more attractive for first-time buyers, but the middle rate stamp duty, the promise remains the same, but it's also raised in value because they need to acquire more tax. Now, you say we're going to get political, yeah?
Yeah.
Being political under the current system that we have here in the UK, this is all I know, then it begs to wonder, do we have a political agenda for ourselves as a people? Are we being led by a political system down a political road that hasn't really benefited us over the decades? So I think it's important that if we are starting to get political about our money, our assets, what we've acquired and how we wish to use it, then we better get political about a community and a group and practice that benefits us and our generation going further down the line.
So what you're saying then is that as a people, we should be building up, while we build up the economic clout, we should be building up the political clout at the same time.
We should be building our wealth clout, our educational clout, our health clout in every area that our lives touch. We should have an element of control or an element of say. Our communities need it. So we can practice generational wealth, like I said, which is good, but we need to go further. And once you start practicing community wealth, then you're starting to be a little bit, you're not selfish anymore. You've got to start to look wider. And that takes a bit more of a risk from yourself. And that's where the trust element is going to come into it. And that's where the community element comes into it, because what sort of identity, what sort of purpose, what sort of mind do you have to do what you say you're going to do for the people who you say you're going to do it for? Are you doing this money for yourself? If that's the case and you're selfish, it is not going to work. But if you're doing it as a group collective to benefit the group, and you have a strategy and a plan to do that, you know how to do it, and you've got the people around you to support you do it, it can work. And that's what Marcus taught. That was some of the philosophy that Marcus was speaking about, and some of the 7 principles.
Well, one of the principles, one of the quotes of Marcus Garvey that says we must have a government of our own, a government to protect our interests. Now, when you hear the word government there, can there be a government within a government, or a structure in the sense of we building a structure is in the sense a government under the government running?
Well, I think we already know that in this country there's a government within a government, and there are communities within communities that look after themselves and manage themselves in the way they want, and they do it on different levels. We have just failed to do it effectively enough and make enough noise about it. So there's nothing that we can't do, Silver. Yeah, we don't need to look at other people and put them on a pedestal and say, they are the example.
Yes.
Okay? We're the ones that are supposed to set the example. We are the salt of the earth. I'm going a bit far here now, but at the end of the day, let's have pride in ourselves. Let's have confidence in ourselves. One of Marcus Garvey's quotes, which is dear to my heart, a black man without confidence is twice defeated in the race of life.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to have confidence in our ability and in our belief, in our imagination, in our creativity, and being able to produce something. Now, it may take a while, we may fail, but you learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. So it's said, but people identify the failure more as a sign of weakness than a sign of success. You reverse that psychology, you learn more from your failures than from your successes. So you become stronger. You know what to do, what not to do, how to do it to go further.
I want to ask persons if you have any questions to shoot at the same time to Patrick, to please do. Welcome Azania, welcome Kerry, welcome different persons on TikTok as well. Feel free to shoot any questions to me so I can put it to Patrick. Patrick, when you see the this is Black History Month, the Black community with what you're doing, and you're going out there in and out within the community, what do you see as our greatest challenge?
Our greatest challenge is to trust and to believe in one another. That's what I see. I'm not saying what anyone else sees. I see a weakness in the community to provide a community service for the community. Now, I might be living a sheltered life. I might be stuck in my own little conclave, living my life, doing what I'm doing. But yes, I believe that our older people, as they get older, deserve care, respect, and dignity. I believe our young people need confidence in their education system, confidence in the people educating them, to raise their self-awareness and their identity and believe in themselves, in their ability to do something, and not to be measured against a system or a system of measurement which they don't recognize or doesn't recognize them.
No, that is really powerful, you know, in a sense, because all of this underpins, in a sense, like what we've been talking about regarding the Marcus Garvey factor, the legacy, what our belief in, as well as a people. I believe that is so important. And the other bit also is that, and I'm going to go back to this bit again about the driving passion in helping people secure their legacy. And I'm going to go back to this person, this elderly person. They've got their children and they've got this pot of wealth. And what are some of the things that happen sometimes if people are not educated, whereby they can have a big property paid off, goes to the children, and then somehow it just disappears?
The ideal world, Sylvan, is that our older people and the families and extended families live peacefully and harmony and well together. That's not always the case. And it doesn't just affect us as Black people. I go into many different households and many different nationalities, and it affects everybody. We have to be careful. We have to be sure that the reasons why generational wealth is not sometimes being transferred is because of relationship breakdowns. Okay. Some people do not live well with one another. They have a different type of mentality with regards to having an automatic right to inherit, or believing they should inherit more than what they're entitled to. And that can create problems. Okay. Understanding that this is a gift. It's a gift that's been given by the giver, and they are making a choice which they feel reflects their wishes. Now, before I get there, or even before I complete what I need to complete, I encourage my clients to have the conversations with their families regarding their choices, because it can make things a lot easier rather than doing things in private, behind closed doors, and then everything comes out in the wash when that person dies and everyone's left in surprise. Don't make people surprised. Let them know where you stand and where you're at from the outset, and what you want and what you want to achieve. I can help them do that, because sometimes the washback it's not very good. You call it a washback.
They say sometimes, like in Jamaica, this is one of the greatest things that happen all the while when people passed away is a fight over deadlift or so like
Yeah,
that.
and the thing is, it's not exclusive to us, Silver. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
not bad.
yeah,
It's not ideal. It's not exclusive to us. It happens to everybody. We may magnify it more because, the people that look like us sound like us, and we feel it more. But we're no worse or no better than anybody else. It's just human nature. But that takes education.
yeah.
That takes sharing and providing a service that lifts people's knowledge and idea up as to what needs to happen.
So, okay, and so therefore, it's good not to beat ourselves up.
No, 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 no. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you had Stephen Green
Who
from
is?
the president of UNA Jamaica and
Yes.
brother
Yeah. Stephen Gordon. Stephen Golden.
Golden, not Green. Yeah, and basically they were talking about having black pride, having pride in yourself, having pride in your identity, and having pride in what has been achieved, even though we know more can be achieved. But I think
Yeah.
we've done well, but we need to do more.
Not
Don't
done.
rest on our laurels. There are different levels that we
Yeah,
need to.
done well from where we're coming from, and of course, the vision for the future to be actually be very assertive and be very robust as a people. I think that is so important within the UK. Widen the scope within the UK in the sense of black leadership. How do you see that in a sense? Because we are seeing there are a lot of children which are growing up, and we're seeing the few leaders that we have up there that you can see. What do you say about black leadership in the UK? How strong is it? Or does it?
That's difficult for me to answer because I don't really focus on it, and I don't want to be judgmental of anybody that's actually doing some work out there that I'm not aware of. I know of some black charities that are doing fantastic work. I know of the charities. I don't know of the leaders as such. So, if you're out there doing something, I applaud you. More people need to support you, and we need to be made more aware of these charities and these leaders that are doing community work so we can support them even more. Yeah.
I was speaking to a young gentleman today. We're about the same age, and we're all young. I mean, Patrick, you just bearded up. You just beard up your beard. You just died. But we were talking about like it's so important that we go into black shops and black supermarkets and black to support them, and we both came to an understanding that yes, the prices are a bit higher, but because of the fact that they're small and they don't do things in bulk, but it's so important that we actually do support them as much as possible, so therefore there can be a growth.
And I think this works both ways, Silver.
Yeah.
I want to support black businesses, but black businesses have to support me.
Yes.
If I walk into a shop, I want to be served. I do not want to be ignored.
Yeah.
My clients would not expect that from me if I walk into their house and I ignored them.
Yes.
In any shape or form. I don't just mean by my attitude. I mean in every way I serve them in the way that I dress. Do I ask to take my shoes off before I enter their house? The way I greet to them, how I speak to them, who I dress first, who I don't dress first. I give them respect. And I look for the type of respect that they want. So I ask for it. So if I walk into a shop, I want to be served in exactly the same way. I want to be looked upon as someone coming in with their hard-earned money to spend or their hard-earned time to make a decision on how to spend, what to spend. So give me the information that I need to help me make a decision. I want to support black businesses. Black businesses are doing fantastic jobs, but we can do more.
So therefore, need to line up.
Everybody needs to raise the bar. Everybody needs to raise the bar. The world is not going to sit still. Marcus Garvey was telling messages 100 years ago, which is only now really just coming to pass. He was a man ahead of his time. He was a man of vision, of dreams, inspiration, and he was very powerful in what he'd done. He was imaginative. He inspired so many people around the world. And we need to have that same sort of attitude when we're dealing with one another. When I'm dealing with you, you're dealing with me, I'm dealing with my clients. when businesses are dealing, whether you be a builder, a plumber, it doesn't matter. The list is endless. But you deal with your people with the highest possible value that you have the ability to deal with. That takes time,
Yes.
that takes effort, and that takes sacrificing yourself for it.
Yeah. You're sitting in the hot chair, so I have to say anything's going to be thrown at you, Patrick. At this point, with the advent of artificial intelligence, how does that play with what you're doing? How does that interwork, and how do you see that the whole artificial intelligence and society in a sense?
It's a tool that supports me, and it helps me do my job better.
Okay.
It provides information for me faster, and it helps me to clarify my thought process. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of anything like that. The human spirit is far more powerful than any technology. What you have inside of you is really important to give and to share with people. Now, different ages and different generations will deal with technology in different ways.
Yes.
Some people may not necessarily want to deal with me face to face. They will go straight on some form of communication service that they want to communicate with me, or fill in a form online with no interaction for myself, but with prompts. Some people, older people, or people who may be slightly more wealthier, want to look you in your eye. They want to sit down. They want to interview you to see if you're the right person to deal with them.
Yes.
With me?
No, that's very powerful. I've been having conversation with Michael Ramsey, an AI specialist, and we've been doing these discussions a lot.
Yeah.
And the last discussion that we had, a few persons who I know were very apprehensive about artificial intelligence. The way he broke it down, they say, well, they're coming around to the whole aspect of it. And that leads me on to even digital ID. I was speaking to someone today, and they were giving all the different reasons about why not to. And I said, well, hang on a second. I started to think about it. I said, but these guys have everything on me already. I mean, I go into the shop and my battery ran out on my phone, and I realized, shucks, I need to charge it because everything is on the phone. They use cash anymore, to a certain extent. So I have no. I'll be honest with you. I have no problem with digital ID. But what's your take on?
There's no fear with technology.
Yes.
Technology has always been here, from the steam engines right the way through to the dial telephone, right the way through to having leaded, unleaded fuel and different types of engine and cars, remote control, this and that. It's always been here, and we've embraced it. Okay. The thing is, it's going to happen. You're not going to stop it happening by not embracing it. So the thing is to be involved and understand how it can improve your life and make us as a community bigger, better, and stronger. Can we use it to empower ourselves more than what we are at the moment? And it's something to embrace.
That is very powerful, Patrick. And Patrick, in closing now, tell us now, where are the places that you would like to go to engage with people, to speak to persons as well, community?
Okay, so I've been invited to community groups and charities, and I've spoken to them on particular subjects. I've been invited to various business expos where I've been on a panel talking about my subject or my craft to a group of people. And, I think, without giving too much away, I mean, we've had discussions about potential plans and things that we'd like to do to reach a wider, reach more people, broaden our nets. In the service you're doing is very important. You've been doing this for a number of years now. You put some fantastic shows. I really enjoyed the Jamaican election that you had over the last couple of months, and it taught me so much about Jamaican politics that I didn't know before.
Some sleepless nights I had, Patrick.
I can imagine, because I want to stay up with you sometimes. I watched it the next day. But it was a service you were providing, and it educated me. So we need to use platforms like this. We need to have areas or environments where we can be in control of how we put on a seminar, how we put on a show, how we engage, how we educate people about different forms of investing or protecting that investment and what to do. Question and answer sessions, having people where they can express themselves, either in a sort of form of a clinic, sitting down one-to-one. There's so many different ways, so many different ideas.
Yes. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, there's Patrick details there. His telephone number. You can always screenshot it. You can always go back to it because the YouTube link will be there. Sorry, for those on TikTok, sorry, on TikTok, you don't have that information. 07788107000 is Patrick's number. 07788107000. But I do encourage you as well, those on TikTok, to come over onto the YouTube channel, Silvern TV. But at the same time, you can go to the website, which is brokerhouse.limited.uk, www.brokerhouse.limited.uk, and email is enquiries@brokerhouse.limited.uk. Very important to empower families. You know, Patrick, just like when they had the Windrush period, and since I came to this country, one of the things when I was involved with a few organizations, I always see the elder folks there, and I always say to them, where are the children? Where's the youth? Where's your...
That
Sometimes
needs to be encouraged, Silver.
Huh?
The conversations I'm having
with
people that want to give away what they have, the people who are receiving that gift need to be educators as well.
Yes.
When they receive it, what do you do with it?
Yes.
How you deal with it, and what are your options?
Yeah.
What are your plans? What are your ambitions? What are your dreams? How can this fulfill that? There's no point just giving, in my humble opinion, there's no point giving it away and it goes into a black hole.
That
We're not practicing group economics that way. Okay.
I never forget a baker, and he had this bakery, and I said to him, "What's going on?" He said he wants to give it to his children, but they don't want it. Anyway,
it's true. But if that's the case, then that's more deeper than what Patrick Morrison can provide a solution for.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. What are the areas of interest that these children have that do not want to have the bakery? Is it better for the individual to sell the business to somebody else and still remain a shareholder, or sell it outright and pocket the proceeds from that sale and go in another direction? There's no point sitting around and thinking, well, they don't want to, I'm just going to give up. And I'm sure that's not the case. But let's start to look at some options that are available. Now, you and me may not be able to provide an option to that bakery, but the community may be able to provide an option to that bakery. Maybe the community or a collective can buy that bakery and keep it going. Who knows? But the options need to be there. But we need to be in a position to do that in the first place. So generational wealth can provide it to a point, but how do you take it to the next step? What is the structure? What is the plan? And how can it be implemented for group economics? Because don't forget, this is exactly what Marcus Garvey was talking about when it comes to self-determination. Having a sense of pride and having something, self-governance, governance. Yeah, all of these things is exactly what he was talking about. So we need to embrace it, use technology or AI to help us achieve that. And what are the products and services out there that can help us do it? There's lots of good things happening in the month of October because it's Black History Month. But as you and I know, Black history isn't limited to 1 month. We're grateful for what we have, but it's something we have to live out every single day. Yeah, so there's another 11 months in the year for our history to educate ourselves and learn what we need to learn to make us feel good about what we're actually doing and the reason why we're doing it.
Michael, I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight. But in the words of Marcus Garvey, one of the quotes is, "Up, you mighty race, accomplish what you will."
Yeah, and another one, I'm making notes here. One God, one aim, one destiny.
One God, one aim, one destiny.
Yeah. So what is, who's the God? What is the aim? What is the destiny? Let's create that.
Yes.
Let's create that.
Yes.
You and I are just a small cog in a bigger wheel, and there's lots of cogs there to fill that space, to turn that massive industrial, community, political, educational, government, healthcare, technology industry around. Let's get there. It can be done, but it takes work.
Patrick, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to a part 2 of the show, but we're on the empowering stage. We're on the empowering stage. We're just going through.
Empowerment stage is important. We need to go to a next level, Silver.
Into the next level, definitely. Yeah. And this is not actually ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see me sit down with Patrick, we did it already. It's on my YouTube channel. Just go onto my YouTube channel, Silver and TV, with Patrick Morrison, and there you see a longer version where we sit down, with suit and everything like that, trash out on the red chair. But since we are virtual now, we can actually develop and go wider at the same time.
There's no limits now.
No limits.
There's no limits now.
Ain't no limit.
Smart enough. We know what we're doing. We're passionate about what we believe in. So let's put our foot in the water and let's see what happens.
Yes. Patrick, listen, have a good night. Thank you so much. And my regards to the family as well.
Apologies for the late start. Technology. I wasn't fully up to grips with it this evening, but we got there in the end.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I always trust the process at the same time,
Yeah.
As well. All right. God bless you, Patrick.
All right. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And ladies and gentlemen, please remember, there's Patrick details there. I'll let it scroll again. There is detail. Patrick Morrison. Telephone number is there for you to actually tune in as well, as much as possible. Moving on now, I've got my next guest who will be coming on. I'm going to have Miss Jacqueline Bryan and Miss Deana-Kay Thomas. They're going to be coming on for the second part of the discussions and of the show. And as I said earlier tonight, we continue the conversation with two incredible women who embody the power, purpose, and faith in action. Jacqueline Bryan, who's the president of the Jamaican Association of Social Workers, and Deana-Kay Thomas, and more. Jacqueline does more, she's she's a connector. And Deana-Kay Thomas, author of Behind the Perfect Picture. That's a very interesting book. I must say, you guys need to get it. And we'll explore what it truly means to live with purpose, to serve, uplift, and inspire others while walking in divine calling. As Marcus Garvey reminded us, a people without knowledge of their past history, again, origin and culture, is like a tree without roots. So tonight we are here to remind you that living with purpose is how we grow in those roots. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you, those who are on TikTok, those on Facebook, those on Instagram, and those on YouTube. Thank you so much. And please share the video as well. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in Jacqueline and also Deana-Kay Thomas. Well, good evening, ladies and. Oh, she's driving. We're driving to what?
I'm with two ladies on the road. So
okay, so you're not driving.
No, I'm not driving.
Okay, I thought you were going to Ocherous because I'm not in Ocherous, and I thought you were going to Ocherous to meet me.
To meet up with you, eh? Oh boy, that would be so nice.
I'm not in Ocherous. Deana-Kay, how are you? Welcome.
Hi, I am doing good, I'm here. Giving God thanks for life.
Fantastic. Well, it's great having both of you here tonight on the second part of the show. But first and foremost, Jackie, Bryan, what's going down? Tell me what's going down. What's a big thing?
So over the years, I have assisted students and persons who are not students of Haile Selassie to achieve their goals, opportunities that they, and interesting enough, I did not remember assisting Deana-Kay. And I saw her downtown at a street meeting. And when she reminded me, I started crying because I had not remembered. And Deana-Kay, you tell him why you're doing what you're doing in terms of the occupation that you're chosen.
Okay, so I am a social worker by profession, even though I'm in the classroom. And what made it possible was that I was encouraged, of course, by Miss Bryan based on how she treated me in high school. I'm like, I want to be in this profession to help people because she have helped me. And I remember in high school, it was today I was reflecting, Miss Bryan, that I remember not having lunch money. And it was through the PAD program I was able to have a meal during lunchtime. And Miss Bryan did not get tired of me coming every day for a PAD ticket. And just to add to that as well, I remember when I was in 11th grade and it was time for me to do my CXC subjects, and Miss Bryan was the only person to run to. And I remember I went to her and I was telling her what I was going through at the time. And I witnessed her go on her laptop, text and type persons on Facebook or wherever, and she got that money so that I could pay and sit my 10 CXC subjects. And I will forever remember and be grateful for that. Miss, you have changed my life because that was my ticket out of poverty, my ticket out of what I was going through at the time. Because I was going through a really tough time during that time.
And
That is
Yeah.
it makes me choke
all right.
up to hear that. And I was doing GoFundMe before GoFundMe was a thing. Because as you said, I went on my laptop and I started calling friends, started messaging friends, and that is out of that. I'm looking back this year. I'll be 60 on the 24th of October, and I said to myself,
Wow.
I want to make this a legitimate thing and not just an ad hoc thing. I want to put in strategies and so on. And that's why I'm launching this foundation on the 26th of October, which is 2 days after my birthday, at a church service at Portmore Methodist Church at 9:30 a.m. I'm inviting my friends and persons who have supported me over the years. I have connected persons with job opportunities. I have connected individuals with, and I remember doing an assessment during COVID, and it was said to me that I am a connector.
Yes.
I'm a connector. So that's what I do. I connect persons to opportunities, and that is what I want to continue to do with this foundation.
Yeah.
I
We're having
have,
we're having some little gaps missing with the words. I guess because of the Wi-Fi because you're traveling. Just to let you know, Jacqueline.
yes.
Mm, yeah. The bit about the foundation. Do you want to say something more about the foundation? Let's move
All right.
on.
I'm working on getting it registered, and it's
Yes.
Journey Reset Foundation. We have a team who is setting up the website, who is setting up the domain name, all of that. So by next week, all of that should be up and about, and I'll be sharing information with you, Silburn, about how they can donate and
Yes.
how they can continue to assist and help us, and continue to help persons like my students, my child in a Thomas, because I consider them my children.
Yes. 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 And just like the other day, we were talking, and the guy was bothering you and bothering you. He said, "Why they don't leave me alone? They don't leave you alone, innit?"
Yeah, you're right. They know that they can come to me. That's it.
Well,
They know
but
they can come to me.
that is very good in that the young people find a safe space, and that is what
Yes.
is needed these days, a safe space where they can go to. But being the president of like the social workers in Jamaica, and we are hearing sometime of different challenges. um it's like is it that they are developing on the whole aspect of child care, child protection as well?
Where there are changes that are happening, and
Yes.
changes that are happening for the better. There is
Mm,
still more improvement that needs to happen, because we are still not as we're still not being employed in the areas in which we are supposed to be employed. We are
yes.
giving persons other than social workers to be in the job that is for a person who's trained as social worker, because we have this attitude in Jamaica that anybody can be a social worker.
Really.
And once you're assisting persons in terms of providing them with food and clothing, and that, not understanding that it is a profession and there are training aspect. I had to do law because I'm a lawyer. Don't walk in my shoes, sir. But we had to do law because we
Yes.
had to do a course that was called Law and Human Services,
Yes.
right? So we have to know the law. We have to be aware of the law so that when we serve the population or clients, that we are aware of what are the legal things that we need to do. We have social workers who are dealing with cases more than they should be dealing with. So they're not able to give up their best. And I'm very happy that Miss Thomas, Deana-Kay Thomas, has chosen to continue to study. She's doing her master's in social work, and
Yes.
and she's she's helping others because they're social workers in the school setting, and
Mm,
that's where she is at the moment. And
yes.
we continue to encourage persons to become a part of the profession, and with my foundation I'll be able to assist more individuals, male or female, who want to have this opportunity to serve,
Yeah.
who want to have this opportunity to transform lives and make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I go to Deana-Kay, like as a social worker and you motivational speaker, you actually in the faith. How do you use your platform to help others to discover their God-given purpose as a young woman in Jamaica, leading
Yeah,
in that influence?
I must say that at first, for myself, I have to find my purpose and know what I am about. And I
Yes.
am a lover of young people. I know I am young and I have a lot of influence on the young people, around me, in my where I work, in my community. And I believe that it starts with understanding who you are and allowing that to shape or make the pathway for you. So once just zooming in on someone's gifts and talents and identifying it. For me, I can sing, I am an author, I am a social worker, I am a teacher, I teach HFLE, and I think that is a lot of things that I'm doing right there. That is causing impact. And if a student walk up to me and ask me, Miss, do you do so many things? It is a part of my purpose and calling here. And I am not just here existing. I'm existing for a reason and a purpose. And so are you. You are here existing for a reason, and all those gifts and talents that you have will propel you into the purpose that God has called you here for, and that is also influencing others to do the same.
Jacqueline, I was speaking to Deana-Kay earlier, and there's a book that she wrote, which we're going to talk about. But Deana-Kay said because she's a woman of purpose, she's going to sing for us. She's singing.
That's part of her talent. That's a gift that God has given her. That's not my gift. That singing is not my gift. That is her gift.
Yes.
But Deana-Kay, the book that you wrote, picture is it picture perfect? What the perfect picture? Is it the perfect picture?
Behind the perfect picture.
Behind the perfect picture. Tell us about
Yes.
this. I'll put a picture up there. Tell us about this book, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen, behind the perfect picture. Take a picture now.
Okay.
Sorry.
So first, I'm gonna say I love pictures. I love to take pictures, but couple years ago that was not, something that I love to do. But behind the perfect pictures about my life story, what I have been through, the death of my mother at the age of 8, and living with a guardian, and I would have undergone a lot of things. I mean, a lot of abuse, verbally, physically, sexually, psychologically. I was emotionally scarred. I wrote about it because sometimes when people see you, you're dressed nice, you're well put together, and all of that, they think that you have it all together. But behind the makeup and the nice hairstyle and you being well dressed, there's some form of something behind all of that. And for me, I was broken. Like, I was broken, and persons saw this perfect picture, but behind the perfect picture, I tried to hold everything together, but it was falling apart. I didn't grow with a mother. I went to live with a guardian who, she did not take care of me as how she should. As I mentioned before, that school was my safe place. Home was like torment. It was a big, nice house with 6 bedroom up the top, 6 down the bottom, but I did not have any peace. And so school was my safe place. If I needed anything, my guidance counselors were there. I could run to them and all of that. So outside, I look like a young lady who have it all together. But behind the perfect picture, I was struggling, holding on to the life.
Jackie, just to bring you back in, there was this lady in Jamaica. I forget her name. Tyra, is it Tyra or something like that? Who unalive herself. I use the word unalive because of TikTok is being streamed. Is it Tyra or something like that? A young lady who recently. Yeah.
The beauty queen.
Yes.
Mm.
Based on what the picture, talk about the picture. People have a picture that they put up there, but at the same time, behind that picture, there's something else, maybe ugly or things that they're going through. How do you address this, like in Jamaica, for argument's sake? And is it a mental issue at the same time, but is it prevalent?
I was watching something on YouTube last night. I didn't get to complete it, and it was talking about people not being. They're finding that young people are not going to parties, and that's where they started from. And what they also continued to say was that we were more into the phone, the lenses, than we are into. And as Deana-Kay spoke about, behind the perfect picture, liking to take pictures. We put up on various platforms what is what looks good. We have to make sure, and we filter it. We don't show the real thing.
Yeah.
And because people think we're okay. We think we're quite fine. And nobody wants to put out that I am hurting, I'm in pain. And because it also said that a lot of the young people today don't have a lot of friends. What they have are likes. Now, I can talk about having friends, and we go out together, which is why I'm on the road right now. It's a group of us. One is here from Cayman, and we are meeting up together because this is the only opportunity we could meet today. And what is happening is that we want to go out there and sit down and have a conversation and meet up with each other, but the young people are not doing that. They are behind the devices. They are taking the photographs. They're uploading them, and they're reaching for that neck. It's become a drug.
Yes.
And that high that you're trying to experience. The first time you have that wonderful experience, now you want to have that experience again, and that's what you keep doing. And we don't encourage our nation and the Black people as a whole to talk, or social workers to talk, or therapists to go out there and to counselors and have conversation. Means that a waste of time. What that good for? That those are the comments you hear when you try to encourage. Most of the time we find reluctant clients. They are not willing. And again, because I remember when I just started at Haile Selassie High School, a year after I started, a young lady came into my office and she said to me, Miss, I want to speak to you.
Yeah.
And when I reached the section of the form that says, who referred you? She said, Miss, and whenever I think about it, I hurt. She said, Miss, I watched you for the whole of last year because I just started working there. She said, I watched you for the whole of last year to see who come to you and if anybody was talking about that person and what you discussed with them on the compound. She waited 1 whole year because she wanted to be able to trust me in order to share her pain and her hurt. And look here, Silbert, she was going through a lot of pain. She was going through a lot of hurt. And even though I'm confessing that even though the government say you must report everything, after that, I said I had to wait until she was ready to go with me to the police station.
Yeah.
I could not immediately say to her, we have to report this. No, I waited. I waited until she came to me and she said to me, Miss, can you take me to the police station? She had to come to that acknowledgement. And that's the thing. We have to build relationship. We have to and the relationship is not just you and them interacting, it's how you carry yourself. You are the book that they read. As Christians, the Bible says that. So what it is that you are to show persons observe you and see, can I trust this person to come to you? Can I speak to this person and know that when I speak to this person, it is going to be confidential. It is going to be in such a way that here, what happens? I am going to be able to speak. And sometimes all they need is a listening ear. A listening ear that is not going to be judgmental. A listening ear that is going to be allowing them to express the pain and the hurt and the anguish that they feel. A listening ear that is going to be saying, okay, fine. If you just want to come here and be quiet right now and don't say a word, I'm here.
You know, yeah, Jackie. When I listen to you and you're connecting, but I'm gonna put it to Deana-Kay. Like, what would you then say to young people who feel lost or unsure of their purpose? And Jackie put a point a while ago about social media, because you're right. I'm in the social media space and sometimes it's so fake. At the same time, people are trying to match up to the Jones or trying to see, and then therefore they become depressed because what is promised to them is not happening, and that is where they're seeking to go viral. But Deana-Kay, with young people and those around you, how do you empower them? How do you reach out to them? What do you say to them?
Okay, so for me, I I use my gifts and talents, number one. So where I work, I every morning, not every morning, but when we have general devotion, I would always be there, whether I was told to do it or not. I feel like it's a part of one of the reasons why I'm there. And I remember I was in a meeting and a teacher said to me, Miss Thomas, the student said that you need an award. And I'm like, an award for? And she said, every time they have general devotion, you are up there singing. You are up there doing something. But what occurred to me is the fact that I am making an impact. So even though they don't walk up to me and say, Miss, I love what you're doing up by the devotion every Monday and Friday. They don't come up to me, but they're having conversation. And these are the things that I'm talking about when you are making an impact, when you use what God has given you to influence others. And another thing, you mentioned about young people finding their purpose. They must know why they are here. They must recognize what matters and focus on the things that brings meaning, not just momentary satisfaction, but what really brings true meaning to life. What do I need to be fulfilled? What can I do to make an impact? So things like that. You must have clarity as a young person. You have to know why you do what you do.
Can you tell us a bit more about the book there? And it's personal, isn't it? But
Yes, it
it's
is.
while it's personal, but it is out there publicly. So if you can sort of and ladies and gentlemen, the book is there. It's on Amazon, and you can get it as well. And there's a book there, The Perfect Picture. I like the title there. Where did you get that title from?
When I was going to high school, my last year, when I was in 11th grade, the title came behind the perfect picture. And I had that for years before I penned it. I just knew in the back of my mind, based on what I'm going through, that, there is a behind all of this that I'm going through. There is a behind the perfect picture that people see. And so the chapters in this book, I think it's about 10 or 11 chapters in this
Yes.
book that I wrote about. And I'm here and I'm like, the first chapter, I'm just going to run through real quick. So the
Please.
first chapter speaks about the death of my mother and how I am a covenant child because my mother couldn't conceive, and God really blessed her to conceive. If I ever tell you the story that my father told me, and the people at church prayed for my mother to conceive, to have me. I spoke about being a covenant child. When your mommy or your daddy or your family pray for you to be here, when you arrive here on this earth, just remember that you are a covenant child and life will never be easy. You will have to fight through because, yes, there's a greater purpose for you to fulfill, but there is the enemy on the other side. He's going to try to hinder you from getting where you're supposed to go. The second chapter speaks about the seemingly perfect life. As I mentioned before, Silburn, that person thought that my life was perfect based on what they were seeing on the outside. So in that chapter, I just shared about some things that I would have, gone through. So that person know that, hey, this girl was broken, she was indeed hurting, shackled by abuse and pain, like healing from those scars. Now I'm looking back and I'm like, Lord, I am indeed grateful because the abuse, the trauma, like I wrote about how did God kept me. Like I'm just thinking about it. But because I am here for a purpose, I knew that the Lord would have kept me. I thought I was going to go crazy. I thought I was going to go mad, right? And He kept me. And so I had an exposure to witchcraft as well. The lady I was living with, she practices witchcraft. Silver, and I did not know this until after I came out of that situation, based on the things that I would have seen. Persons come up to me, pray for me, telling me things that only me and God alone would have known. Like, how would this person know this? So I was exposed to witchcraft. Dreams of terror. While I was there, I got a lot of dreams that were scary, very scary. And I remember one night, the lady, she sleeps in my room. She doesn't sleep in anyone else's room. And I remember one night I went to my bed and I got a vision that she wanted to bury a casket in, like, Dovecot, one of those places. And they were carrying the casket and sun was going down, and that person started to argue in the vision, why we not get for bury the casket yet? And she was going on. And when I look, I saw the casket breaking, just breaking. And then when I woke up, I was so fearful. I felt a blanket just covered me, and I felt peace, and I knew that I needed to get out of that. But I was going through the process. I talked about my school life in the book and how, as I mentioned before, Miss Bryan played a really good part in my school life, overcoming adversity, pushing past the odds, going after what I want, being determined. I wrote about dialogue with God, broken to be a blessing. Even though I've gone through so many things, I still smile. And people today cannot understand why I'm always smiling, why I'm always jovial after I've gone through so many things. but God kept me, and that's just it in a nutshell. That's a part of the journey, of what was behind my perfect picture. Also revealing what was behind my perfect picture, because sometimes we have to let people know what is happening. That cry for help, that cry to say, help me, I'm suffocating, I need to breathe.
Yeah.
This is what is happening. So persons who are listening, expose what is behind a perfect picture and receive your healing.
So therefore, so what you're saying then is that mental health is a very strong factor. And I'm not going to just pinpoint for Jamaica as well. Because over here, I was walking in the park the other day, and I just heard this scream. I passed a lady, and I heard a scream, and I didn't know what it was. But in the UK, as a black man, when you're walking, you got to be careful. If you hear a scream for a lady, and there's somebody, you got to be careful. You can't just investigate certain things. Then after a while, I saw her again walking, and then I heard her scream. And then they talk about sometimes some companies where they have rooms, this breakout room where people scream and let off their stress at the same time. So a lot of people maybe is going through things at this time, and sometimes they bottle things up, and therefore the smile is that perfect picture, which as you present beautifully, and as you set out in your book, um, 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 you know, Deana-Kay,
Yes.
and your book is on Amazon. Yes, people can
Yes,
always
it
get
is.
people get it from
Yes.
Amazon. And what other point that you want to share? I'm sort of zeroing on young people at the same time, and I'm grateful so much to Jackie, because she's always come on and regular. The fact that she's work with young people and actually stimulating and building. But you are now in that zone. You're now in that field with lots of young people. You know what's your message to young people?
So
Specific.
my message to young people is, do not let your circumstances define who you are as an individual. A lot of my students, some of them would have known that I am from the inner city, but when they see me, it's like they're in disbelief. They cannot believe that my teacher is from the inner city. And that's one thing I always try to let them understand, that it's not where you come from, it's not your background. If I can do it, then you can do it as well. And true freedom begins in the mind. And a lot of them believe that because I live in the inner city, I cannot achieve this. I cannot be the next lawyer, or I cannot be the next doctor. But I always remind them that greatness is in them. Greatness is within you. You are gems. Whatever you want to do, you can accomplish it. And these limitations of where you're from and where you used to live, no, do not let it define you as a person. And that is the message that I want them to understand, that listen, it's not because you come from an inner city, down a Pienland or down a Waterhouse, or down a Delacree, you can make a difference in
Yeah.
any space at all that you are serving in. So that's my message to all the young persons listening. You can
and,
do all things through
and ladies and
Christ who
gentlemen,
strengthens you.
thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, get hold of Deana-Kay Thomas at gmail.com. That's where details at Deana-Kay Thomas at gmail.com. And the website, no, not the website. You're at Instagram as well, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Deana Chosen Vessel. Yeah, Deana-Kay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Deana-Kay Chosen Vessel Thomas.
Deana-Kay Chosen Vessel Thomas. Yes. Yes, that's wonderful. I want to make sure that you are able to finish that even half an hour of your worship or your choir,
Choir rehearsal. Yes.
unless you're gonna do it here and sing for us.
She needs,
I feel like you're setting me up, Silver, and I feel like you're setting me up.
Jackie,
Listen.
Jackie, it's up to
yeah,
you. Jackie. You
he's
decide.
setting you up. He's setting you up. He's setting you up for sure. And I want persons to hear that beautiful voice that you have.
All right.
This
So
is their international opening. Your
Okay.
international opening.
All right. So there is this song that I like, and it says, "There's beauty in my brokenness,"
Yes.
and I'm gonna sing the first line for you
That's awesome. Well,
because
not
I
for me, but
actually
for everyone. Yeah.
yes. So yes. All right. There's beauty in my brokenness. I've got true love instead of pain. Yeah. There's freedom though you've captured me. I've got joy instead of mourning. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul. Down deep in my soul. Down deep in my soul. You give me joy down deep in my soul. Down deep in my soul. Down deep in my soul. Say, there's beauty in my brokenness. Ooh. Oh, I've got true love instead of pain. There's freedom though you've captured me. I have got joy. I've got joy instead of mourning. Hey, 'cause you
Hey,
give me joy down
yeah.
deep in my soul. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, you're getting there, man. I mean, that's a choir worship. That's a choir practice now. You've done
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
it. Well, thank you so much. Deana-Kay, it's up to you now because I'm mindful that you wanted to do your choir
Yes.
practice.
So
Yeah. And I'll finish with Jackie.
all right. So take care. Thank you so much for having me. Hopefully we can link up again another time.
Oh, yeah,
Bless you.
definitely. Definitely. You're now a resident guest, definitely.
Amen.
And
Amen. Alrighty.
especially uh, I'm not gonna ask you anything. Oh, she's gone. I was gonna say to
No,
her,
I'm
Jackie,
still here. I'm
yeah,
still here.
yeah, what I was gonna say is that when it comes on to issues like in Jamaica,
Oh,
issues like
yeah.
young people are so like that, I'll call you in at times, just for your commentary on certain things.
Yes.
I won't pull you down into any political thing, even though I'm tempted. I always like to pull people into politics.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Deana-Kay. All the blessings to you and all the best. All
Thanks.
right,
You're welcome. Mhm.
God bless. Thank you. Cheers. Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. I'm waiting for Jackie. Jackie is gonna come back shortly, in the discussion, and it has been very inspiring, and I like Deana-Kay sang. Did you guys like her song? I can see it's a lovely song, so lovely. Um, Marcus Garvey said these words, and I'm just going to read some of the quotes of Marcus Garvey. He said, "One God, one aim, one destiny. Up you mighty race, accomplish what you will. Let no voice but your own speak to you from the depths. Um, we're entitled to our own opinions and not obligated to or bound by the opinions of others. Power is the only argument that satisfies man. Hence, it's advisable for the Negro to get power of every kind. You know, we must have a government of our own, a government that will protect our interests. And when I say that the government of our own, I mean to say the way how we can operate within the system as much as possible. The pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier than them. But both put together, yeah. When all else fails to organize the people, conditions will. So that's very powerful. I'm not sure if Jackie's gonna come back, if anything like that. But I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight, and keeping it very tight as well. Listening to Patrick Morrison from Broker House. Make sure that you link in with Patrick. Patrick is a very good friend of mine as well, and the discussions that we had, and talking about how people can actually do their wills. A lot of people don't do their will, and if you want to connect with Patrick to do your will, there is contact detail and he can connect and do the will with you or whatever like that, especially with trust. And also remember to purchase the book by the Behind the Perfect Picture. It's on Amazon by Deana-Kay. Very powerful book. Talk about the picture, because many people have a picture which they present, but that picture sometimes is just what should I say? It is what should I call it? A camouflage, you know? It is a camouflage. It's not true, it's not pure or so. And so um I I'm not sure Jackie's gonna come back. Let me see if she's gonna come back, if anything, and I'll just go on TikTok just briefly at the same time. Let me just make a quick phone call as well. Let me just say something here. But anyway, guys, I want to say have a good night and have a good week and be blessed. And Monday night on TikTok, Men Junior again, we're going to be talking about men, fathers and young people. There's a very sad thing happening. Catford, I'm going to find out who these boys were. Two young men who, I don't know if they're young, but two men that got unalive as well. And the third person got unalive as well through an accident. Just writing Lewisham here. So we'll see. Bye on this side. See you over there. Definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much. And peace out and God bless you. Bye-bye.